Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. I have Honorable Kamordeen Olatunji Sani in the studio this morning. With us is a real estate expert. He's the Managing Director of Centurion Realty and Estates. Am I correct?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
This is Yinka Kenny, and my name is Tommy Singh. Let's just get into the conversation because the time is fast spent.
Yes.
But I really want to know, in the midst of all of the troubles and economic hardship, how come the real estate sector is thriving?
Part of the reason why real estate is thriving is real estate is the cornerstone of all economy. Once you are able to stabilize that, then you can have a solid economy moving forward. As a matter of fact, I can say that real estate has been part of the reason we've been able to stabilize the Nigerian economy.
How do you mean?
Because, the real estate market, in spite of all other economic downfall, is still pretty stable. Being that, if you look at hierarchy of needs, people have to have a place to stay. So it's always a constant demand for real estate. That's why it's been very stable.
Thriving.
So do you think that an average Nigerian has the economic power to, be empowered in this
kind of, economy?
No, I mean, the fact remains that it's still out of, touch for most average Nigerian because of costs. The cost has always been skyrocketing over the years, and we need to stabilize in terms of the cost of materials. The cost of materials get transferred to potential purchasers, and that's why you see that the prices are out of reach for an average Nigerian. Something needs to be done.
Okay, so let's bring it down to you now. How do you or your company intend to bridge the gap?
Well, we need to have a structure, so to say. Where I practice my real estate, I've been practicing for the past 27 years in the United States. There's a structure to everything, and that's what's lacking in the Nigerian market. We need to have a way of not just controlling the market, but actually people that wants to come into the business have to be licensed and they have to pass certain criteria before they can actually go into it. So that
Which
way
comes to control.
Right, I don't want to use the word control, but you just have a structure, just
Okay.
like anything else. Once you have a structure, then the expectation from that structure would be, you would know what to get from what you're getting.
But Lagos State government has a structure. For example, they have the ministry. The ministries, they have physical planning and urban planning. They have lands. They have parastatals of government that are supposed to take care of some of this, nitty gritty about the construction, the built industry generally. Now, we've had several cases of renowned real estate companies owning structures where they cut corners.
Absolutely.
So is it that the structure is not working on the part of the government, or is it just that Nigerian business owners sometimes always find a way to cut corners?
Well, I can blame both the government aspect of it and the private sector of it.
Okay.
When I say the government aspect, when you have a structure, you also have to have some type of enforcement. In Nigeria, the enforcement is lacking because people are compromising. The people are being compromised. The people are looking the other ways where they need to focus on and making sure those private sectors are following the rules and regulation laid down by the government. So when you have people that are not following the laid down guidelines, then you're going to have problems, and that's where you see cases of where properties are collapsing. They're not using the right materials. They're cutting corners in terms of the amount of resources they need to go into. Because everybody wants to try to make profit, and that's going to affect the general public.
Well, then we're talking about buying. Sorry, Yinka Kenny. We're talking about buying here. What about the simple rents, paying of rents to your landlord? Can that be controlled by the government as well? Because landlords wake up in the morning, they say things are hard, gari has become more expensive, yam is more expensive, to buy pepper is more expensive. And they wake up, they put 50,000, they put 100,000 on top of their rent.
Absolutely.
And people are groaning, under the weight of the kind of humongous money they pay for rent. Here in the city of Lagos, for example, maybe in Abuja.
Well, there's a role that the government can play when it comes to that. They can have subsidized rent for people that cannot afford it. Those areas that the government can play a role where they can make sure that rent does not exceed certain economic parameters. Because if people cannot afford to pay the rent, then we have a problem. You cannot just overnight increase rent. But I am not calling the government to have a restriction, because you have to understand this is a free economy. Whatever is obtainable in the market is what the landlord is going to try and get. But we should not allow consumers to be galvanized, to be taken advantage of. That's where the government comes into play, to make sure the rules and regulation are followed when it comes to increase of rent to protect the general public.
Yinka Kenny, you can go ahead now.
Okay, you haven't practiced real estate for 27 years overseas and coming to Nigeria with all of the way our system is. Do you think we can ever get it right?
We can get it right, but we have to start somewhere. The first place we need to start is by having a regulation in terms of who can practice real estate. In Nigeria right now, anybody can just stick a sign and say for rent or for sale. In the United States, whenever you are doing a transaction with anybody that is not your next of kin or is not your own property, you have to have a license. If we start with just licensing practitioners, people who buy and sell on behalf of others, then you can protect the general public. I think that's a good place to start.
We've been talking to Honorable Kamaldeen Olatunji Sani, who is a real estate expert, and the whisper is that he is also a politician. Coming into politics in the next couple of months. But of course, when that begins, we will be talking about it. Thank you so much for still making it today. I know you had quite an encounter this morning.